Something pretty crazy just happened over in Korea. Apparently they ruled that Bitcoin is not money today. And apparently also that the interest rate rules don't apply. Apparently at the same time, Cardano has been seeing some surging adoption in the United States, fueling super bullish ecosystem growth for ADA. And while that sounds pretty good, both XRP and Ethereum, following the title of this article, will be demolished by the SEC. The president's advisor explains why. Well, I don't think we have to go too deep into that. Max Kaiser is the one saying that the SEC will kill XRP, but I don't really respect him, nor do I think he's right on the money or anything like that. At the same time, though, the great accumulation of Bitcoin has begun. I do agree with that. Even if I think coins like XRP will make people way more money than Bitcoin ever will. And yeah, sad, or not really, but interesting. The Ripple CTO, David Schwartz, has ended the speculation on 10 billion XRP buyback. It's not going to be happening. It really didn't make a lot of sense either way, but just to make it clear, it's not happening for as far as the CTO of the company knows. He says, we sometimes do buy XRP, but I don't know of anything specific that this could be referring to, and I don't know who claimed it first. Let's quickly see. Yeah, apparently the source that's been stating this was just created just to confuse, I guess, the people. I'm not so sure. Maybe it was Gary Gensler making this to sue him again. But yeah, all the while that's all happening, the San Francisco Fed president, is that it? Deems 2 rate hikes in 2023 reasonable and urges caution in monetary policy. Well, the only thing I have to say about that is things are going pretty crazy. I mean, the crypto space is in a wonky period where right now we've got meme coins doing exceedingly well, and even coins like Shiba Inu unlocking apparently some remarkable price trajectory amid exciting ecosystem updates for Shibarium for their metaverse and game, whatever. But also just in terms of numbers, meme coins have just been doing exceedingly well. While at the same time, you'd think that right now there'd be a fundamental push for the most part. And again, it's partially true, where in the Bitcoin ecosystem, many of these coins are just performing exceedingly well, with many of these coins up a significant amount over the week. But it's kind of funny how two opposite sides, the Bitcoin fundamentals and then meme coins, are the best performers, with a slight hint of the original DeFi tokens also doing well, like AVA. But before we dive further in this video, guys, if you've not done it yet, make sure you press that like button right now. And, this is very important, join the Discord. I'm trying to make many multi-millionaires in our Discord group. But I also think that combining our powers together, by everybody being able to communicate with each other, things will just go a lot quicker for many people. I think it's just an easy way to verify things. Don't listen to DMs. Please watch out for those. But in the public chats, I think a lot of people can help each other to make better financial choices. And I shouldn't say you should trust people over the internet too much, but sometimes things are just obvious and a lot of people are very helpful out there. And I think the best way to get to a better level in your life is to just seek out help from others. Anyway, just join the Discord. A link will be down below, and let's start talking. We have a lot of, just general crypto news to cover. First of all, this week's Cliff unlocks are over $83 million. Unlocks are basically when a cryptocurrency that had a significant amount of institutional investment or just part of the tokens not unlocked since the start gets a lot of tokens that hit the market at a certain spot. And so here's a significant amount of money from the circulating supply as well, a good percentage, that is all of a sudden unlocking this week, including Sui with 11.6%, Optimism with 3.8%, and you can see the rest. Whenever there's unlocks, usually the price goes down, but people buy the rumors, sell the news, so be wary of that. Talking about coins hitting the market and talking about coins moving, apparently this is the great accumulation of Bitcoin that has begun by the Winklevoss and Michael Saylor. They share their 2 cents on the current trend. Now, the Gemini co-founders, Cameron and the other one, believe that the market is experiencing a great accumulation of Bitcoin between retail and institutional. We've seen that with all these ETFs and interests showing up. On a similar note, we're seeing that because the majority of the Bitcoin is not moving, and that usually means positive things. Because if a lot of the Bitcoin supply is moving, that usually means that things are in a negative spot because people then want to get rid of it. But if people are just holding on and only a small portion is moving, usually that means people are stacking up more and more. Anyway, the surge in the adoption of digital assets from institutional players has pushed the market further, leaving many wondering about the next step for regulators and users. Meanwhile, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index stands at level 65. Following the recent surge and following a slight increase in optimism, where the majority of people I've been asking are more bullish than bearish. Anthony Pompliano also pointed out that a lot of the smaller investors are just not selling. People refuse to sell to Wall Street, making Bitcoin highly illiquid for a period, which is still right now. And so it seems that a lot of these ETF guys just want to get their share in before everybody just decides to not sell their cryptos anymore. Because that's a funny thing. If you think about it, if everybody just stops selling their crypto, their Bitcoin, whatever, yeah, prices just go up exponentially, right? Because nobody wants to get rid of their coins. They just want to keep accumulating, but so do the other ones. And an honest question to ask yourself is, at what point would you sell all your crypto, planning to never buy back in? Because a critical thing is right there. You might just sell your cryptos to US dollars, whatever, at some point because you're rich. But still realizing that the US dollar is in such a wacky situation, and it could literally be so doomed like a lot of other currencies have been over the last couple of months, let's just call it a couple years. Just realizing what could happen over the next year or 2 or 5. Yeah, are you never going to be buying back into cryptos? Because if you sell it right now, which is fine by me, go ahead. Well, then the moment you buy back in, the prices are going to probably be just significantly higher. So when exactly do you sell and what do you sell it for? That's a really good question. I think if you're selling it for a business or something like that, proper. But if you're selling it for another currency, ooh, that's a sticky one. Because maybe on the short term, you're right, but on the long term, you might still be screwed if you want to ever get back in. Now, like we said before, many people are still trying to disprove of XRP or to push it into the ground, saying it's going to be demolished by the SEC. I still believe it's not going to be. I still believe cryptocurrencies like XRP, Ethereum, Cardano, which again, Cardano's in a good light right now, are still proper to buy. And I still think they'll make you more money than Bitcoin will. Then again, I still think XRP is the best contender out of that little list, and Ethereum has a couple of shaky parts. The fact that they got backed up so properly by these major players still makes me kind of scared to hold too much in Ethereum. On the opposite side, I have more money in Ethereum than a lot of other cryptos. I'm still just the most bullish on XRP. And also just from a risk-reward perspective, I think it's just the most undervalued. But Cardano is also a good contender. They got sued by the SEC, basically. They are in a crazy spot as well, where prices did come down a significant bunch, even though their future looks significantly bullish, and their DeFi ecosystem is thriving, and most things for Cardano are just thriving. They've also been investing significantly into the Cardano ecosystem, and things are just moving so nicely for them. The community is always heavily involved, and they just keep doing amazing. It's kind of funny the SEC is going after them, because I still think this one, from a decentralized ecosystem perspective, is one of the best cryptocurrencies out there. It just keeps expanding with a lot of people building on there purely for the tech. All right, I think Cardano has a lot of that, where people just believe in the idea of decentralization and these decentralized apps, and that's the reason that they build. Anyway, like I said before, South Korean court rules that Bitcoin is not money and that cryptos are not subject to the same interest rate rules. A South Korean court has ruled that Bitcoin is not money and that interest rate rules don't apply to businesses' deals involving crypto assets. So apparently the ruling was made by the Seoul's High Court Civils Division in a case involving 2 firms, both of which were unnamed for legal reasons. And the court basically said it was impossible to set interest rates when lending Bitcoin. A cryptocurrency is not money and thus is not subject to the same lending business laws. Apparently, company B, penned a deal with A that saw it borrow 30 Bitcoin, some Bitcoin, 30 Bitcoin, for 3 months. And company B appears to have agreed to pay company A BTC 1.5, a sum equivalent to 5% of the total for the first 2 months, and Bitcoin 0.75, that's so weird, a sum of equivalent to 2.5% for the final month. But issues arose when company B failed to repay the Bitcoin properly. At this point, the court heard company A extended the loan period to April 2021 and changed the interest rate to Bitcoin 0.246 per month, a sum equivalent to an annual interest rate of 10%. But when company B failed to repay its creditor in accordance with the terms of the contract, company A filed a civil lawsuit, which I think is quite fair. And we can also see that over in Korea, over the last couple of weeks, the volumes are increasing very significantly. I guess ever since this BlackRock news came out. But apparently company B claimed that company A had violated the Interest Limitation Act and the Loan Business Act by setting new interest rates that were in excess of the legal maximum. And then basically the court said they refused to accept company B's argument, ruling the object of this contract is crypto assets, not money. As such, interest restriction law and the loan business laws do not apply here, which makes things really wobbly. Apparently, company B here should deliver the Bitcoin as per the contractual interest rate, because all these rules only work for real money, which makes me really wonder if they could have just set it at any percentage and B would have had to pay. And it's purely because the contract was made in Bitcoin, not in fiat. So that's one of the most prominent things happening in the South Korean courts. The next big thing is I guess what started earlier this month, the Terraform Labs lawsuit about Luna Classic being a security, and that should also be interesting for the rest of the world, as again, Korea is a massive superpower when it comes to cryptocurrencies. XRP is very often the number one most traded asset over in Korea, and I really do wonder what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. Also, like I said earlier, things we're watching out for is what's happening on a macroeconomic scale. The Fed's daily, right? Mary Daly, I think that's how you pronounce it, or Dali, whatever, doesn't want to trip the economy up into an unforced error. But the president of the San Francisco Reserve expressed her views this week, stating that she believes 2 additional rate hikes could actually be appropriate this year. However, she maintains a neutral stance regarding the forthcoming July FOMC meeting, emphasizing her desire to preserve flexibility by maintaining optionality, which basically means, my opinion means nothing because we're keeping it open. Now, the next FOMC is still 30 days away, so we've got enough time to prepare, but it's really going to be interesting to see if they're going to stop the rate hikes because it's quote unquote working for the inflation, or if they're preparing for an even worse future coming up. I mean, in Europe, they lied about everything. They said, oh, we're never going to get a recession, but we did. And I believe the US is also afraid that if they stop too early, they still might screw themselves up. On the contrary, if they keep going on too much, they're going to wreck the economy over a little bit of a longer term. So it's a battle of two evils. Little side note now that we're on the topic of crypto news anyway, Near Foundation apparently partnered with Alibaba Cloud to accelerate Web3 growth in Asia. The partnership will offer multi-chain indexing to provide data query API to developers, so that's pretty bullish for Near. And this is quite interesting. US government spent $12.7 billion to bail out 10 wealthy depositors amid banking crisis. It's just a report that just came out, which again is crazy if you start thinking about it. The sheer amount of money is just absolutely phenomenal. And it leads you to believe, like I said in a video a little bit earlier, just how crazy of a spot the banking system is in right now. I believe what we covered earlier was this, right? This article right here. The U.S. banks facing false sense of comfort amid rising signs of credit stress, says banking regulator. Plus, like I said, what we're thinking right now in terms of the FOMC and what could be happening soon, things really are probably a lot less good than they seem. And that's why I keep investing in crypto, because I think that's the best way to escape a lot of this crazy stuff happening in the traditional financial space. But again, guys, what I recommend you guys to do is to press that notification bell on, because what if something crazy happens in crypto tomorrow? You want to be notified is what I always tell you. And also make sure you join the Discord, like I said. And yeah, tomorrow there'll probably be some more crazy news, so I'll be covering that. And that's about it. See ya.